It's great to be back on the pad with the NRO for the fifth time. Our third and fourth missions for the NRO were two back-to-back flights from our launch pad in New Zealand for the NROL-162 and NROL-199 payloads. Earlier in our launch manifest, we had also flown NRO missions in January and June 2020. Today's mission also marks the last launch the NRO has acquired using its rapid acquisition of a small rocket or RAISER contract, a streamlined, faster and commercial approach by the NRO for launching small satellites. Our first flights for the NRO were also contracted under RAISER, so it's a fantastic full circle moment to be flying RAISER 5 and NROL-123 from our Virginian launch pad today. The NRO has also dedicated this launch to Dr. Steve Stearns. Steve worked in the intelligence community for 21 years. He was an architect and an advocate for the NRO mission, building multimedia displays. He used his skills from years of teaching at universities by creating compelling stories with intelligence community products to educate distinguished visitors on the NRO mission. Steve passed away in February 2023. He is remembered by his colleagues as being passionate about geology and the mission of the NRO, and he loved working at the NRO, going to launches and being able to say, "I was there." So today we can say he is here with us from rocks to rockets. With the support of Virginia Spaceport Authority, the Commonwealth of Virginia and NASA Wallops Flight Facility, our home on the Eastern Shore serves multiple purposes: small launch on Electron, suborbital launch with HASTE, and very soon, heavier launch and return missions with our reusable neutron launch vehicle. Now, while we're preparing to go to orbit today on Electron, most recently this pad was used for one of our suborbital missions on our HASTE rocket. It's our suborbital launch vehicle created for hypersonic test launches out of Wallops. Now, hypersonic and suborbital test capabilities are top priorities for the nation, but right now, developing that capability has been constrained by limited capacity. HASTE, though, helps to solve that with a launch vehicle for hypersonic testing that is ready right now. It's a lot like Electron with the same carbon composite structure and 3D printed Rutherford engines, but it has some specific modifications for hypersonic testing, including a modified kick stage, a larger payload capacity of up to 700 kilograms, and customizable fairings to suit larger payloads. Our first HASTE mission took place just a few months ago from the same launch pad as part of the Mark TV program through Leidos for the Department of Defense. Here's more on how Launch Complex 2 and our launch vehicles are bringing value to the national security industry.
For a whole suite of various government or defense companies, to be able to launch from American soil means they can actually launch a more diverse set of payloads than they can if they're required to actually export them for launch. And for us, it's great. We can leverage all the resources we have, but provide that expanded capability to launch different types of payloads from here on American soil. So we've got a great established relationship with the NRO. This is our fifth launch with them. So at this point, we know them and they know us. But this is our first chance to launch them here from Virginia on American soil, which is very exciting. So it's really nice with those guys because they know our process. They know how we do things and how we do things efficiently and quickly. So anytime anything comes up where we have to modify anything to support their payloads, they know how to ask for it and we know how to provide it very efficiently. We want it to be very quick from signing a contract to getting you on the launch pad and launched, especially with national security interests. So we need to have that responsiveness, and adding a reliable vehicle like Electron that the entire government community can use really adds to our ability to be responsive as a country and as smaller communities within the government. I'm a sucker for a good team. That's really what it comes down to for me. So, we've got so many people that are here to support launch, and everything has to go right. And so to make that happen, you need to have a bunch of people who are really good at their jobs, and launch day is when everyone gets to show what they do. So people who are really detail-oriented, they've done their homework, they're really enthusiastic and curious and driven to do as great of a job as they can do, they get to put their cards on the table and show that on launch day. So it's great to see a high-performance team absolutely operating at their peak on launch day, and there's just that excitement in the air. It's almost like an adrenaline rush that you really can't get in other fields.
To all operators, LD on countdown. We are proceeding now with the final poll for launch, the go no-go sequence. Stage.
Stages go.
Avionics.
Avionics is go.
GNC.
GNCs go.
Recon.
Recons go.
T1.
T1 is go.
GC.
GC is go.
PLS.
PLS is go.
Mars CE.
RCE is go.
Mars Up.
Mars Ops is go.
Mars 1.
Mars 1 is go.
NASA GSO.
Go.
NASA ARSO.
NASA RSO is go.
NASA PM.
NASA PM is go.
Payload MD.
Payload MD is go.
LSO.
LSO is go.
LD Sub.
LD SEP is go.
NASA TG.
Please go.
And that concludes the go no-go sequence. We're currently T-minus 11 minutes and 8 seconds and counting. We are go for the terminal count at T-minus 10 minutes. From this time, the 3-word hold procedure is in effect.
And that is the poll from Mission Control that confirms we are now going forward with today's liftoff attempt at 03:25 Eastern, right at the end of today's launch window in just over 10 minutes and 40 seconds from now.
Okay.
To all on countdown, stage one igniter pressure is verified, hydraulic pressure is verified. LD GC on countdown.
GCLD.
The pad terminal checks are complete.
Copy. Avionics LD countdown.
LD Avionics.
Please proceed with sequence 55, the avionics terminal check sequence.
Copy. Commencing sequence 55. S-band is switched to high power for flight. Stage 1 and Stage 2, high voltage batteries, ready for flight.
Stage LD countdown.
LD stage.
Proceed to sequence 56, the stage terminal check sequence.
Copy sequence 56.
Proceed with sequence 57, the launch pad ready sequence.
Copy, proceeding with launch at ready sequence.
T-minus 7 minutes and 41 seconds and counting, and the team and the rocket are both tracking well. Now, I just wanted to give you a bit of an update that we are expecting some potential video dropouts during today's launch. So if that does occur, we'll switch views to mission control and continue listening into the team on console for updates.
Copy.
We are now under 5 minutes away from liftoff, and just a reminder of the final processes as we get towards T0. Electron's auto sequence will start at around the 2-minute mark to launch, which will take over the launch countdown from the operators who are running it themselves from mission control. Now, after that, once Electron has switched to that auto sequence, we should hear the call that LOX has finished loading on Electron at around T-minus 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now, 30 seconds later, at T-minus 1 minute to liftoff, we should hear confirmation that the first and second stages of the rocket are at their full pressure for liftoff. And then we get through to T-minus 10 seconds when our launch director will count down all the way to T0. So with the launch vehicle and the payload both looking good and the range being clear, we should be on time for that 03:25 Eastern Time liftoff target. We'll hand over now to Mission Control and wait for those next few calls coming in at around T-minus 2 minutes.
ECS disabled, pad auto sequences armed. The pad is ready for launch.
To all operators, LD and countdown. From now on, there should be no red flags on your critical LCCs. Beacon LD countdown.
LD Beacon.
Confirm all expected flight computer ASCIIs are green.
Confirm.
Then please lock the auto sequence and confirm.
Auto sequence locked.
At this point, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LD is go for launch.
Vehicle is on internal power. AFTS is green and enabled for flight.
Anti-gouging has been disabled. Lock system is in recirculation.
Stage 1 and Stage 2 tanks press for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift off.
Beginning pitch level. Stage 1 propulsion nominal. Vehicle is supersonic. Approaching max Q. Field max Q.
With Electron clear through max
voltage
Q,
battery
all is
discharge
looking
nominal.
nominal at now 1 minute and 26 minutes into flight. So the rocket is now over 20 kilometers in altitude and moving at over 2,800 kilometers an hour. Up next will be 3 launch milestones that happen
Cargas
at
is
roughly
nominal.
the same time. To separate the first stage of the rocket from its second, we need to throttle down and shut off the booster's 9 Rutherford engines. This is called MECO, or main engine cutoff.
MECO confirmed.
Stage separation successful.
Stage 2 ignition.
That is MECO, stage separation and Rutherford engine start on the second stage, all confirmed across the nets. Live and Let Fly is living up to its name as the mission continues nominally on its way to its target orbit. Up next will be fairing jettison, when Electron's nose cone splits and falls away to expose the NRO's payload in preparation for deployment.
High voltage battery discharge is nominal.
Fairing separation successful.
And that is
Stage
fairing jettison
propulsion
confirmed
nominal.
as all continues nominally for Electron.
Battery check jettison confirmed.
Hot swap successful.
There they went, you saw it there, a clean battery hot swap for the second stage Rutherford engine. Propulsion looks nominal, our orbital trajectory is on track, and we are now just a few minutes away from the second stage's final milestones.
Seco confirm. Good, transfer orbit.
Great news from Mission Control. With that second stage engine cold and the kick stage separated, Live and Let Fly's payload is now further on its journey to orbit. The kick stage has been released at the apogee of this mission's target orbit, otherwise known as its highest point, but not yet on a circular path. It will now complete an elliptical orbit around Earth before the dots reconnect at the apogee. Now, when it does, the kick stage's engine will light up for the first of its multiple burns to set the mission on a circular orbit. Next, after that, will be payload deployment and the release of the payload. Now, at the request of the NRO, we won't be live with those kick stage actions or payload deployment calls, but we will bring you updates across our social media channels. Payload deployment will mark the end of the mission for Rocket Lab, but the beginning of those 3 research missions on orbit for the NRO. So good luck and live and let fly to the NRO. We'll be ending the broadcast now, but remember to follow Rocket Lab's Facebook, Twitter and Instagram pages for updates on this mission and our next Electron launch scheduled soon. This is Rocket Lab Mission Control, signing off.